Okay. Good evening, everyone. This is Coach Aiet. Welcome to another episode of Coffee House Chat. Tonight, you have me and Professor Sai. Good evening, Professor Sai.
Hi guys, good evening. This is Professor Sai. Thank you so much for another episode of Coffee House Chat. So, Coach Aiet, ano bang topic natin for tonight?
Our topic for tonight is about essay tax amnesty. Hopefully, you can guide us on the questions that was provided early on by our listeners. And we'll be tackling about tax. So this is something that's close to your heart, being a tax expert yourself, also as a real estate broker and appraiser. Thank you for making time tonight.
Okay, thank you, Coach. Coach, by the way, how was your training pala? Kamusta yung mga trainings mo?
Trainings. Oh, okay. We just recently concluded batch 1 for kidpreneurship. Kidpreneurship is about having the kids to discover their passion. So we invited kids and parents to join that 5-day free webinar. This is presented by Resolute Life, which is I am part of, and successfully in batch 1. We received a lot of good feedback from the kids and the parents. And so we are launching another one this coming Saturday, July 18. That will be an introduction to batch number 2. The last Saturday, it was presented by Miss Janine Sabrano. So shout out. Hi, Janine.
Oh, okay. Hi, Janine.
Yeah.
Yan. So, on the lighter note, si Ma'am Janine, I think she's one of the clients of XDT and Company. If I'm not mistaken.
So. Yes, she is.
So, siguro shoutout muna, Coach, dun sa mga friends natin who are watching tonight. Do you have some friends now you would like to greet before we proceed with the session?
Yes, we would like to thank our sponsors for tonight. Number 1 is the XCT group of companies. They're a mainstay sponsor. We will be raffling off 10 winners for later. And then
10.
10. And then 3 winners for this. All right. So they sponsored this for us tonight. And this is from Town Health, courtesy of my new Phil sister, Judith Cinco. Hope you're listening.
Oh, nice. Nice.
All the way from Laguna. So this is actually a bag of tea bags for dried malunggais. And she said na it comes with yung pure lang at saka with flavor. So that's so nice. We actually tried it at home and here in the office.
So congratulations, Coach. Meron ka ng
sponsors, diba?
Sponsor, no? Nakakatuwa naman. But, you know, on the lighter note, I remember when you approached me on having this session, yung Coffee House Chat. Mm-hmm. You know, guys, for the information of everybody, the reason why we have this Coffee House Chat, kasi one time when we were having coffee in a coffee shop near CGS, nung wala pang lockdown, naalala ko nun, binanggit mo, Coach, sabi mo parang gusto mong ituloy yung isa sa mga plans mo before of becoming a host, parang a sort of a DJ. Then I said, sabi ko, sige, gawin natin.
Pinuko mo ako, di ba, DJ talaga?
Talaga. Yan talaga yun. Yung talaga yung gusto niyang mangyari, ladies and gentlemen. Then sabi ko, kasi ako, I'm really very supportive of my friends, most especially my wife. And she's first and foremost my friend. And kahit naman tayo mga magbabarkada, alam mo, Coach, on a lighter note, siguro before we start with the amnesty, as Filipinos, if we really would like to move on to this, what we call ECQ or COVID or pandemic, one of the things na nakikita ko, we really have to start supporting each other sa negosyo natin. And that's the thing that I like with our Chinese friends. Mga kaibigan natin, mga Chinese businessmen. They're really big on helping. Kaya meron silang magandang network. That's why we have this coffee house.
Yes, tama.
Yan. So, sabi ko nga why not copy that same good relationship or trait na yon, di ba? Kumbaga, pag nakita mo na yung kaibigan mo, and we've been practicing this one in XTT na pag nalaman namin yung friend namin ito yung negosyo na, as much as possible, we try to support. Yun yung advocacy namin Why? Because if you wanna grow your business, the first thing that you should be doing is help other people grow, either their business or their practice.
Right.
I remember in one of the talk shows that we did, yun din yung mindset ng isang speaker. Sabi niya, I want to help people. using my profession. And he's one of the more successful businessman or one of the business.
Sino to?
Si Ma'am Katsi.
Oh, yun. Hi, Kat. Hi, Kat.
Shout out sa mga friends natin sa Ma'am Kat. Yun talaga yung gusto niyang ginagawa Then sabi ko, I realize, this ECQ or pandemic that we're having or whatever we call it, diba? It's really more of an opportunity for Filipinos to stick together and to help each other. And I'm really very happy for you, Coach, kasi we did this coffee house chat. And I think this would be a good springboard for entrepreneurs to be able to promote their business. Tama? What do you think, Coach?
Oo. First and foremost naman, we want to enjoy what we do, right?
That's right.
And then we love what we're doing. And by doing so, we should do what we love. So, yung mga businesswomen friends ko from New Phils, we have been in that same conversation, and we want to bring up the business of each other. Walang competition. So, I think that is what's important. And what of a happy feeling would that be if you support each other's back, di ba? Ang tagline niya namin sa New, empowered women, empower women. So,
wow, galing galing.
Maganda yung mindset ng mga tao. And if you want to be part, we have a Facebook page for New also. The founder would be Myren Garcia.
Wow, so shout out kay Ma'am Myren for that one. So yun, I remember kasi I attended one of your sessions.
Oo nga, ikaw lang lalaki doon, no?
Oo, ako lang ang lalaki, no? Sabi ko, time na ba to para magpalit ng gender?
Hindi pwede.
Okay, sige. Okay,
Hindi, kasi ano ba yun?
Naalala ko lang. Parang nung lumilingon ako, sabi ko,
ikaw lang.
Parang ako lang yung lalaki.
Actually, nasa magazine ka. Kasi na-feature kami sa isang article. And you were part of that group picture. Sabi ko, si Sai lang yung
Ako lang yung guy.
Ikaw lang.
But I'm thankful for your group kasi sabi ko nga, very value-adding yung session that you had there, inviting fellow entrepreneurs. And I think that's how the people or how the Philippines can move forward. We need more entrepreneurs. We need more people who are creative and at the same time would like to add value to the lives of other people by either practicing their profession or really doing business with other people. Para itong ginagawa natin right now, di ba? Kumbaga, sabi ko nga the thing that we are doing is, if you enjoy what you're doing, it's no longer work It's becoming a purpose already. Di ba? Kumbaga, find your passion, find your purpose, and it's not really work. Di ba? Parang, kaya on the lighter note, kanina, Coach, nag-session kami ng mga friends ko from ABC. Shout out kay Coach Ron C. And Coach Jeff Lusco. They're very good friends in the financial industry. We had this session, Module 1. You know the title of Module 1, Coach Aiet? Preparation, Protection, Preservation. And it was really a value-adding session because I also learned from those who attended the session, especially mga questions nila. And that's one of the things that I like with what we're doing right now. It's becoming more of a strategic move coming from ABC to empower also financial advisors to be able to what? Not actually just to sell, but to be able to share their knowledge, to become financial, not just insurance agents, not just professional, but financial advisors or financial educators. So, ang nangyayari dito is more of a collaboration or co-creation, if I may use the term. In so doing, we start generating business among ourselves. I remember when I was watching yung sa Alibaba, nung di ba pinapaliwanag ni Jack Ma,
business model niya.
Yung business model nila, nobody actually believed about the business model that he was showing. And for some people who have that great idea, totoo naman, a lot of people would say, ay, di naman maganda yan, corny naman yan
Diba? Usually, diba?
They put you down. But the moment you become successful with what you are doing,
everybody's a friend.
Correct. Everybody becomes your friend. They would say, alam mo, ang ganda ng idea mo, Coach Aiet. Alam mo, Coach Prof. Sai, ang ganda ng idea mo. Why? Kasi nakikita na nila nagiging successful But they never saw or they never see yung
how to get there.
Yung
it's a challenge.
Hardship mo, yung heartaches mo, yung frustration mo. But ako, one of the things I've learned, Coach, ano lang yan, it's a simple case of acceptance na you will really fail with what you are doing, but I never consider it as a failure. I've always regarded it as a learning experience.
Okay talaga kapag successful businessman.
Yeah, sabi nga niya, sabi nga nung isang magaling natin na coach there's no such thing as failure. There are only learnings. You either earn from it or you learn from it. Yun
Oo. Famous yan Lagi yung naririnig.
Lagi mo naririnig yun, Coach. Yan.
Oo. Well, in terms of business, di ba, we are starting to talk about entrepreneurs and business people.
That's right.
And you also mention na dapat angat lahat. Hindi lang yung ikaw yung nasa top. Kasi sabi nga ni John, don't be on the top. Ikaw lang mag-isa. Let's talk about tax, di ba? Wala naman tayong ibang mapupuntahan kundi yun. And,
whether we like it or we like it, tax pa rin, at the end of the day.
Parang math lang yan. Everything has math. So, wala talagang ligtas, di ba?
Tama.
So, what we need to do is to digest, simplify it, para maging practical yung natin, yung learning tsaka yung insights natin, di ba? So, is it okay if I ask you questions tonight?
Sure, Coach.
Kasi alam ko naman na you know and you study tax and you also practice it as a tax professional, di ba? So, estate tax amnesty is different from delinquency. Tama ba?
Correct po. Tama po.
Can you just give a bit this difference? Ano yung difference sila?
Sige. Elaborate lang natin for the appreciation of everybody, ladies and gentlemen. As early as 2019, one of the things which was not very much publicized, the government, through the initiative of the executive department, or through the initiative, of course, of the President, our dear President Digong, he wanted to help Filipinos, especially for those with properties na, bakit ba hindi may transfer yung property na yan? Simple lang, Coach. Kasi ang laki ng babayaran ng estate tax plus the penalties. Yan. Tapos meron din namang mga negosyante na they're having hard time because ang laki ng utang nila with BIR. Ito yung mga tinatawag nating delinquency. So, yan. Then, Congress, because we have a very good Congress comprised of the Senate and the House of Representatives through the initiative of the President. So, sabi niya, let's come up with a legislation which would help our Filipino people. And sabi ko, it's really high time we start helping Filipino people, whether you are a professional, a business person, or simple professional. So, yun, lumabas ngayon yung Amnesty. Actually, tatlo yan, Coach
Pero for lang ba yan?
Tatlo dapat yan.
For COVID lang ba yan? For COVID?
Hindi po. Wala pa talaga. Wala pa talaga COVID. Nobody expected itong COVID na ito. But really the purpose, ladies and gentlemen, of this amnesty, of course, apart from increasing collection, is really to help the Filipino people. May tinatawag tayong, narinig mo na ba yung train law, Coach Aiet?
Of course.
Yan, very good. It's part of the package of the train law. Okay.
Si delinquency, tama ba? O si estate tax?
The word amnesty itself. Kasi dapat yan Amnesty on income, amnesty on estate, amnesty on delinquency. Pero dun sa tatlo kasi, dalawa lang yung, if I may put it, na-approve. So yung amnesty on estate, tapos yung amnesty on delinquency. Pag sinabi natin delinquency, ito yung mga pagkakautang natin sa BIR kasi the BIR issued a letter of authority for us to be verified, to be checked, to be examined kung nabayaran ba natin yung mga taxes natin. And if ever na may mga pagkukulang tayo, may due process naman yan Our friends from BIR would properly explain it yan. So dalawa yan. Estate amnesty para sa mga namatay, amnesty on delinquency. So I think we can focus more on on amnesty on properties or amnesty on estate.
So that's the topic for tonight, right?
Okay po. Yun po yung pwede nating tutukan more. So ang tanong ko, Coach Aiet, may mga kaibigan ka ba or kakilala na in your conversation they would be saying, Coach, alam mo yung title ng property namin nakapangalan pa sa magulang ko kaso yung magulang ko wala na sila, namatay na sila. May mga ganun ka bang kaibigan?
Yes, meron. I also have friends na from the province. yung mga ganong tipo na medyo matagal na. Parang third gen na sila.
Third gen?
Pero,
wow, third generation. Wow.
So, since they are in the province, they don't know how to go about it. Sinayaan lang nila until nawawala nila sa kanila yung properties.
Pwede. Kasi the government, pag malaki yung pagkakautang or pagkakakulang mo ng tax ng government, one of the powers of the government is they can really foreclose the property. But medyo ano naman yan, may due process na. Yes, may due process naman. Hindi naman automatic yan, kunin ko yung property mo kasi hindi ka nagbabayad. No. The government would always process or practice due process. So, moving forward, pag sinabi nating amnesty on estate tax, specifically, we're talking about properties na mga namatay na.
Okay, kaya estate.
Mga namatay na. Ang tanong na lang doon is, may ano ba yan? May cut-off ba yan? May date ba yan? May deadline ba yan? Yan. So, may timeline ba tinatawag yan? So, you have an idea with that one, Coach?
Wala naman.
May narinig ka ba?
Actually, may tanong ako dyan eh.
Sige, ano yun?
May tanong ako dun sa deadline, tsaka kung may extension siya.
Sige.
So, yung deadline muna. When is the deadline for...
Okay. Yung sa delinquency kasi, Coach, since we're talking of two amnesties, yung sa delinquency kasi, dapat ang deadline niya natapos noong April. Opo, itong April of this year. But because of unforeseen events, like itong COVID na to, na-extend siya.
Until when?
So, initially, it was extended June.
This year?
June of this year.
Tapos na eh. Di ba July na tayo?
Kaya marami nataranta. Sabi na, paano yan? Kailangan namin magbayad ng utang namin sa BIR. Tapos, and at that time, nung nag-GCQ, Coach, June 1. Diba? Naalala mo, no? So, practically for March, April, May, talagang lockdown eh.
Yeah.
Kasi enhanced community quarantine eh.
Right.
Masyadong movement eh. Pero pag tungtong ng June 1, lahat nataranta. Lahat, syempre, gusto natin mag-comply, gusto natin magbayad ng taxes. Then, the good thing with what BIR did, they realized na let's help the Filipino people. And we're so thankful with BIR, spearheaded by Commissioner Dulay, and of course, the Department of Finance, spearheaded by Secretary... Sorry. Okay lang ba yun? Ako yung...
Okay.
Yan. The Secretary of the Department of Finance. Pina-extend nila yung deadline ng amnesty on delinquency. So, may mga nagtatanong, kailan na yung deadline?
Delinquency is different from estate. Diba?
Yun muna yung unang deadline na kailangan natin pag-usapan. Kasi maraming mga taxpayer na natatarantay, nalito sabihin, naku, hanggang June na lang yung amnesty. Tama naman po, amnesty on delinquency.
What is this?
From June, ginawang hanggang December na.
Of this year. Tama.
In-extend na siya. So because the Secretary of Finance together with the Commissioner of PIR, they see it fit na i-extend yung deadline. Not just because they wanted to collect more taxes, but more importantly, and this I'd like to say thank you to BIR and to the Department of Finance, they really would like to help more Filipinos. Syempre, kailangan din ng pondo ng government, di ba? But it's a two-way process. The government would like to help, but at the same time, the government would also like to collect.
Yes.
And for the government to be able to do that, they decided na, sige, i-extend natin.
And paano ba kayo na rin yung magbabayad, di ba? Kasi syempre, kinlose lahat yung mga
mga
businesses,
tama.
Even some of our friends have temporary closure of their businesses. So, yung question kanina, just to credit it to Miss Elsa Yambao Oliva, yung deadline daw ng estate tax amnesty.
Yung estate tax amnesty naman po, for the time being, pa rin siya, June 15, pero next year, June 15 of 2021 pa rin siya.
June 15, 2021.
Opo, talagang Ma'am Elsa, thank you for that question. 2 years pa rin siya from the time it was implemented. Ang kumbaga yung amnesty, Coach, it was approved by Congress as early as February of 2019. Pero yung implementing rules ng amnesty on estate, lumabas lang yan June of 2019.
Nasagot ba natin yung question kanina na bakit siya ino-offer ng government? Nasagot na natin siya, no?
Bakit siya hindi pa? Hindi.
Okay.
So, primarily, sabi ko nga the reason why amnesty is being offered by the government, of course, number one, the intention of the president to help more Filipinos.
Okay.
That's one. That's really the primary purpose. Matulungan ng mga Filipinos, professional, businessmen, property owners.
To keep their property.
Number one, to keep their property.
Their property.
Or specifically speaking, Coach, may transfer na yung ownership sa present generation. Kasi ang nagiging issue doon is, ako yung third generation, pero pag sinanap mo yung title, ang nakalagay yung lolo ko pa, yung lola ko pa.
Common sa provinces yan eh.
At common yan. Surprisingly, hindi lang sa province, Coach. Yes, kahit dito sa atin sa Metro Manila or even sa mga urban areas. Why? Kasi nga hindi nila alam kung ano yung gagawin. Kumbaga, if you are living on this property, na pag-aari ng magulang mo, ng magulang pa ng magulang mo, sometimes, nobody would really be asking, nasa na ba yung title ng property?
Right.
Everybody's simply so convenient living on that property na wala man lang magtatanong
yung mga papeles.
Correct.
Accountability kasi yan eh. And I think that's very important. For example, sa kids, diba?
Opo.
If kasi dinidiscuss din namin ito sa Kidpreneur. If the parents have namana ng mga property,
Opo.
and they have to be aware on what to do with it. Tapos, sila din, proactively, para hindi na magka-problema yung next generation nila, yung pag-transfer nila, they have to put it in writing, or at least be familiar with the documents, i-keep it in a very safe place, tapos probably have somebody to look at it, a professional, and to give them the insight, para walang mga hassle in the future, mga taxes na babayaran na sobrang taas because they're not aware. Diba? Hindi kasi napahahandaan.
Ang nangyayari doon, Coach, kaya hindi siya na-transfer from the first gen to the second to the third generation kasi gastos. May tayong mga Filipino kasi minsan we simply want the benefit but sad to say we don't want the responsibility. Kailan na lang na pag-uusapan pag may isa, dalawa, tatlo, apat, or yung isa or yung mga kamag-anak, kapatid, nagrereklamo na. Bakit? Kailangan gumagamit ng property. Hindi naman namin pinapakinabangan yan. Benta na lang natin.
And I think that's the reason why we need to have it in writing para naiintindihan siya.
Tama naman po. And
I think that's a very good discussion for another presentation, diba? For another session.
Opo.
I think it's a good way also that the government is giving us that amnesty to actually have possession of the hard work of our ninuno, yung mga ancestors natin, diba? And it's also a good way to build legacy to the next generation.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
My next question dito would be, what are the documents? Siyempre, di ba, I mentioned kanina, dapat familiar. It's not just to be familiar with it, but what are the documents that they need to keep or collect? At saka, ifa-file in, kasi dito I'm speaking from a personal, I like to keep my documents in one box para alam ko, whatever happens, the children knows where to locate it, ano yung mga kailangan, nandun siya sa magic box na yun. So, in this case, ano yung mga documents or files, na names ng files na kailangan meron, at saka, is there any special document that they need to prepare sa pag-file ng tax amnesty for ST?
Okay, thank you for that. Okay. I always tell clients, number one, you have to have an inventory of the properties na either pag-aari nyo na naiwan sa inyo, but surprisingly or unexpectedly, wala pa yung title sa pangalan nyo. Kasi nangyayari po yun Yung bang namatay si nanay, si tatay, pero before namatay sila, hinabilin yung mga titulo, yung mga dokumento sa iyo. So, syempre, ginawa mo lang naman, tinago mo until they totally passed away. So, what happens now? First step, you have to have an inventory. Sinabi natin inventory, kung lupa yan, bahay yan, property yan, first would be, please check yung owner's duplicate title. Pag sinabi natin owner's duplicate title, ito yung madalas, Coach, nung sinasabi, yung original title, oo, naitago ko pa yan.
Anong kulay? Yellow.
Yellow original title. But we don't really call it original title.
It's
ang tawag
called...
natin doon, owner's duplicate copy. Kasi pag ang original po, ladies and gentlemen, for the knowledge of everybody, ang original po nasa vault ng Registry of Deeds.
Okay. Wala yan sa possession ng individual?
Wala. Ang hawak na individual, owner's duplicate copy. Yan. Kaya pag hawak mo original, matatakot ako. Bakit? Ibig sabihin walang
member ka.
Ibig sabihin walang kopya yung vault. Nang wala yung kopya ng vault, hawak mo, di ba? No, yun. But
parang sa Harry Potter.
Yan. On a lighter note, yun po. Yung tinatawag nating owner's duplicate copy. Yan. That's one. You have to have that. Because eventually, once our friends from BIR, they have already approved yung application for Amnesty, isusurrender mo yan sa Registry of Deeds, kakancel para may lipat sa pangalan mo. So number 2, we have to apply tinatawag nating certified true copy nung title. Kasi our friends from BIR, based on sa checklist, would be requesting, ma'am, kailangan po namin yung kopya ng certified true copy. Ako, pag nagpagawa tayo ng certified true copy, gawin na natin 5 kopya.
Okay. Bakit? Dami
5 kopya. Kasi this is an amnesty Hindi siya yung regular... for the information of everybody, hindi siya yung regular na processing dumadaan yan with several signatories just to check kung ito bang property owner na to who is now the possessor of the property, talaga bang entitled sila sa amnesty, kasi baka mamaya hindi naman pala entitled. So yan medyo mahaba ng konti yung proseso, but to cut it short, we go with the documentation. So yun, number 1, yung owner's duplicate copy. You have to have it checked. Kailangan meron tayo nun. Kasi pagka nawawala yung kopya mo nun, meron tayong problema. But of course, you can still proceed with the amnesty. Kasi ang amnesty naman, Coach Aiet, tax na babayaran mo with BIR. Yung title naman, that's another issue with the Registry of Deeds. So, owner's duplicate copy, certified true copy ng title. Number 3, yung tinatawag nating tax declaration.
Okay.
Coach, ang title will tell you who is the owner. The title will tell you how big is the property. But the tax declaration will even tell you more. It will tell you how much is the value of the property. Yung tinatawag natin market value. But hindi siya yung market value as the selling price. Market value for tax purposes.
Wow, may free seminar na tayo talaga dito kay Professor.
Oo.
Diba? Ano yung sinabi?
Diba? Yung, kasi para lang i-correct natin. Kasi minsan, pag tinanong mo, ma'am, may tax debt ba kayo? Ay, oo, meron. Ibibigay siya yung kopya. Tapos pag nakita mo yung kopya, resibo pala ng amilyar na pinagbayaran. Hindi
so, tatlo lang yung copies na kailangan.
Hindi. Pagka ganun nga, sinasabi ko is, pag mag-apply ka na ng certified true copy, gawin mo ng, kasi this is a special application Kung regular transfer lang to, 3, okay ka na. Gawin mo
ibig sabihin, owner's duplicate copy, certified true copy, and then tax debt. Those are the only 3 that...
Yun pa lang yung initial documents, hindi pa tayo tapos doon. Medyo so meron kang tax declaration kasi yun ang gagamiting basis ng computation. At hindi lang basta tax debt, Coach Aiet Pag sinabi natin tax declaration, the tax declaration nearest the time of death. Halimbawa, si tatay, namatay siya ng 2010. So that's practically 10 years ago. You have to get the tax declaration nearest the time of death. Kasi yun ang gagamiting basis for the computation. Kasi kung kukunin mo yung tax declaration ngayon, our friends from BIR would also be advising, Coach Aiet, kasi yung tax debt mo, dated ngayon. Kailangan namin yung tax debt yung nearest na time of death. Bakit? They would be concerned enough to tell you, ma'am, kasi pag yan ang ginamit namin ngayon, mas mahal. Kasi tumaas na yung value
present value.
So, again, I'm happy with our friends from BIR na pinapaliwanag naman nila yun. Kasi pag, halimbawa, kinumputan kita using yung tax debt ngayon, di ba? Ang laki ng discrepancy. Ang laki ng, Coach Aiet, kasi tumataas ang value ng mga property. Okay lang kung for that particular area or city, hindi naman halos tumaas yung value. But if it is located in Metro Manila or specifically in Manila, Coach, sometime in 2010, especially in 2010, biglang nag-shoot up ang value ng property sa Manila eh. Pagka residential yan, it went up as high as 300%.
When was this?
In 2010. 2010. Tapos pagka commercial naman siya, coach, it went as high as 500%. Tingnan mo to halimbawa, paano kung namatay yung magulang mo in 2008? Tapos ang binigay mo na tax declaration, kasi yung current, di ba, which is, sabihin na natin, yung malapit sa 2010. Imagine mo, tumaas ng by 500% yung property ng parents mo.
Gusto mo na ibenta yung property, no? Kasi diba? Ang mahal.
Oo, tama ka doon. Yun nga nagiging minsan na nagiging challenge kayo iba, ayaw na nilang i-transfer kasi ang mahal ng babayarang estate tax.
May tulong lang dito, no? Sige. While you are still in that discussion, from Lord June Salvador, can we apply for amnesty to remove interests and penalties on the unpaid portion?
Very good. That's precisely the purpose of an amnesty para matanggal yung tinatawag nating increments or penalties. Parang babayaran mo lang yung basic. Kasi kumaga gusto ng gobyerno rito, bayaran mo lang yung basic tax. Tatanggalin yung mga interest. But since it's an amnesty, hindi naman siya forever. Meron siyang deadline. Sa delinquency hanggang December lang, sa estate hanggang June 15 lang next 2021. So going back dun sa documentation, next is yung death certificate.
Okay.
Yung death certificate. And as much as possible, coach, get yung NSA.
Yung may seal.
Yung NSO, or yung PSA. Kasi PSA. Before ang tawag natin, NSO Ngayon, PSA na siya Yan. Get that copy. Okay. Kasi pag pinrepair mo yan, ang kailangan, ang i-request sa ating kopya ng BIR, 5 set They would normally...
Magic number yata yung 5
5 set.
Oo.
Bakit 5 set? Kasi yung 3 kukunin nila Yung 2 sa'yo yun. Pero kasi since babayaran mo sa bangko yun, kaya 5, nangyayari po ganito 5, kukunin ng bangko yung 2, may iwan na 3. Yung 3, isosurrender mo sa BIR. Kasi sabihin nila, dagdagan mo pa para meron ka sariling file copy. Mas maganda na yung sobra, wag lang kulang Kasi pag kulang yan, coach, naku, laking abala. Wait lang, coach.
Tsaka I think what the most important or common question frequently encountered is that, ang tagal naman yan i-process. Ganun ba talaga?
Well, kasi right now,
turnaround time yan?
Medyo matagal siya ngayon. Kasi number one, we also have to understand the government na ang pasok ng mga government personnel natin, since may COVID tayo, is medyo naka-shifting din sila. Kumbaga, yung tinatawag natin naka-skeleton manpower sila. Okay? So as much as ginagawa naman nila yung trabaho nila I'm very appreciative of that one.
Naka-queue. May queuing system ba sila?
Meron yan. Kumbaga, but you also have to recognize the fact na medyo slow down ng konti yung processing. Kasi remember, amnesty yan. Hindi lang naman ikaw nag-apply.
Saan mo pwede iuwi yan sa bahay para gawin?
Totoo naman. Tama ka doon.
Kasi wala namang mga VPN usually. And those are very private documents.
Tsaka, hindi mo rin gagawin yon kasi syempre, mga documents na yan, especially COVID, di ba?
Dapat nasa office.
Doon na lang sa office, you don't want that. So you have that, yung mga titles, tax deck, certified, tapos yung death certificate, yan. And of course, i-ready rin natin yung tinatawag natin, kung ano yan, kung yung mga valid IDs ng mga heirs, yan, and TIN numbers nila. And of course, may isang importanteng dokumento na we have to execute. Coach, ito yung tinatawag natin extrajudicial settlement. Kung sinabi natin extrajudicial settlement, bawa, tayong 2, magkapatid tayo. Okay? Tapos wala na yung parents natin. We have to execute yung extrajudicial settlement para, ano ba yung agreement natin? Am I giving the property to you?
Para walang habol-habol.
Para walang, in short, walang tampuhan sa mga...
Walang squabble. Oo.
You can term it that way. Tama ka rin naman doon. It's an extrajudicial settlement. And normally, it would be prepared by our friends na mga lawyers. And sometimes, even accountants or tax accountants are able to prepare that. Kasi may format naman siya especially kung 1-2 property lang naman siya. But more important sa akin, ang mas importante ron, kailangan nagkakasundo yung mga magkakapatid on that aspect. Kasi pwedeng bawa, Dalawa tayong magkapatid, di ba? Pero hindi pa tayo nagkakasundo. So, paano yung hatian ng property?
What more kung mas marami pa sa dalawa?
Correct. What more kung mas marami pa sa dalawa?
What more kung magkakapatid pero hindi nga parang, ano ba tawag doon? May mandatory heirs, di ba?
May tinatawag tayong compulsory heirs. Yan. Yan, tinuturo natin yan sa session natin with ABC. Yung especially itong parating na module 2 session. Next Sunday, we're going to have another session with Coach Ron C. and Coach Jeff Luz po.
What time is it?
It's Sunday, 2 to 5 p.m. Okay? So, going back dun sa requirements natin. So, meron ka na ng mga basic documents. Then, you have yung what we call extrajudicial settlement. Tapos, with all those documents, pwede mo siyang dalhin sa BIR. Pwede nila mo siya sa BIR, check nila yon. Tapos, they can help you do the computation. I have to give it to BIR. Magagaling ang mga tao ng BIR.
Pero question, if I have an accountant at naiintindihan naman, pwede naman mag-compute yung accountant?
Opo, pwede naman po. Pwede naman po. Isa yun sa mga basic training ng mga accountants and even lawyers for that matter. Though yung mga lawyers kasi ginagawa nila minsan, meron na silang mga kapartner ng mga accountant. May team na sila eh. Sabi ng kaibigan natin lawyer, sige, I'll draft the extrajudicial and while I'm doing the drafting of this one, paki-compute mo na para ma-check ng mga kaibigan natin from BIR yung computation. Kasi mako-compute naman yan eh. Ano bang rule dyan? How do we value properties? Coach, simple lang. Zonal value, okay? Zonal value. When I say zonal value, it is the value, the minimum value as provided by BIR. And saan po natin makikita yan, ladies and gentlemen? Sa website po ng BIR, www.bir.gov.ph.
Ay, input lang yung address nila doon.
Ano yun,
Dapat
Coach?
alam nila.
Ito nga kagandahan eh. Punta ka sa website ng BIR, okay? Pagpunta mo sa website, meron dong word na zonal value. Usually, it's on the left portion. Pag kinlik mo yon, ang importante lang, alam mo yung city, barangay, tapos street. Not actually zip code. Not zip code. City, barangay, tapos yung street ng property. Okay. Tapos makikita mo na doon kung magkano yung zonal value. But be careful.
Hindi listed. Paano pag hindi listed doon? Hinanap mo na.
Wala doon. Wala talaga.
Masyadong remote yung area.
Okay. Normally, what our friends from BI would say, ma'am, pakicheck yung pinakamalapit na street or adjacent property. Halimbawa, yung pangalan ng kalsada nyo is Dollar Street. Pag-check mo rin sa city, sa barangay, walang dollar.
Peso lang.
Peso lang. Oo, peso lang. Diba? Kaya minsan tinatanong yung ng mga kaibigan natin, Sir, ma'am, pwede mo patingnan yung lot plan o yung location map?
Kasi kailangan mo rin ng map?
Ano yun? Hinahanap lang yun pagka nga nangyari po na katulad ng binabanggit mo kanina.
Wala,
hindi makita yung street. Minsan nangyayari yun eh. Hindi malocate eh. But the good thing with BIR, halos lahat naman ng street nandun na kasi ina-update naman po yan every now and then eh. So makikita mo ngayon doon, kung ano yung pinakamalapit na kalsada, doon, yun ang gagamiting value ng property. Especially kung matitrace. Ngayon, kung hindi pa rin talaga siya makita, papalo ka na doon sa tinatawag nating others. Kasi meron pa rin namang valuation tapos nakalagay others.
Okay, may nag-comment lang dito. I cannot understand. English only.
Okay, for the listener that's listen, you want me to suffer?
No, because we might have friends who have properties but are not well versed in Filipino.
Okay.
So let's minimize our parlance in Filipino.
Ikaw naman, Coach. Sige, no worries with that one. I can explain it in English. It's just that I'm really more comfortable with Filipino.
Of course. Because you are also very passionate in explaining. That's why.
Yeah. So, we have already indicated those basic documents that we need to prepare. Yep. So once you have those documents, it's time for you to consult your lawyer or your accountant in crafting what we call extrajudicial settlement. It's basically just an agreement among the siblings.
Do we have just 7 documents?
7 documents. No, those are just the basic documents.
Okay.
Those are just the basic documents, okay?
What are the additional special documents?
Well, if there are other properties involved, like shares of stocks, they may also be asking, can you give us a copy of the stock certificates? Because remember, shares of stocks are still considered estate.
Right.
Estates. When we say estates or asset, it's not only property.
Physical property.
Not only physical properties such as land, building, but you also have intangible properties like shares of stocks. Okay, so what happens now? The extrajudicial settlement, okay, would indicate the agreement among the siblings whom the property will be given. Because if, for instance, in our case, you are my sister, I can agree that I would simply waive my right over the property in favor of you, but it has to be in writing. It has to be in writing. But moving forward, the good thing with an amnesty is this one. For those who were not able to file and pay before, the challenge is this. Number one, the tax, they go as high as 20%. So
that's why they need to avail now, tama?
Correct. Not only that, they would be paying what we call a surcharge, which is 25%, coach. So assuming if the zonal value of the property is 10 million and there are no available expenses or allowable expenses to be given because you don't have documents like the receipts which was used in the funeral before, you don't have those documents anymore, and you have very limited documentation.
To less the cost, right?
So just an estimate, for instance, if the zonal value is 10 million, for instance, the net zonal value of the property is 10 million. At 20%, how much do you think is the estate tax? 10 million times 20%, that's around 2 million, right? And you have a 25% surcharge of what? Of the 2 million. So that's 500,000.
Right.
And you also have what we call interest. The interest is 20% per year. Assuming your parents, they passed away 10 years ago. Okay, so 20% times 10, that's how much? 200% of what? 200% of 2 million. That's what? That's 4 million pesos. So the total amount you need to pay the government is around 6.5 million.
If they don't avail the tax amnesty.
Correct. If they do not avail of the tax amnesty, here's the good part. Are you ready with the good part?
Yes.
Yes. The amnesty says the rate would be from 20% as the topmost rate. It would simply go down to 6%, and without any more penalties.
Right.
Without any more penalties. And the good part is the government would still allow deductions if you have proof. Well, some of the deductions, for the information of everybody on this one of the bigger deductions being allowed by the government is what we call a standard deduction. So what's that standard deduction? Well, if you are a resident or a citizen of the Philippines and you have properties, you are entitled to a maximum of 1 million standard deduction. So we need to say if the zonal value of our property is 10 million, okay, I'm allowed deduction of 1 million.
Right.
And not only that, if that property which was left by my parents, it's actually their family home or principal residence, they're also entitled to another deduction, which we called family home. Again, another 1 million. Is that 1 million each or 1 million total for the spouses? Assuming the decedents would be my mom and my dad. The law said each of them, they are entitled, because those are what we call exclusive deduction. 1 million standard each and 1 million family home. That's the maximum, 1 million. So you get half of the property, okay, half of the property, which is 5 million, and you deduct 1 million standard, 1 million family home. And there are also other deductions, but the bigger question here is if you have receipts. Right. Like, for instance, coach, medical expenses. The government allows that. The medical expenses are also allowed by the government because when we say tax amnesty, we have to be clear with the cutoff. May cutoff kasi, coach. The cutoff is for all those who died December 31, 2017 and prior years.
Okay.
Because come January, what is effective is the train law. The train law is also 6%. But for those who passed away December 31, 2017 and prior years, the rate there was different. It was a top rate of 20%. And the government said, through this amnesty, okay, let's also make it a 6%.
Right.
That's one of the best things that the government did for the Filipino people.
Yes, I agree.
It's just that it's not very much, not a lot of people are knowledgeable about it.
That is why we are doing this.
That's why we're doing this session.
Because we want to educate and we advocate valuable insights online. Yung competition, it can come next, diba? But more so is how to prepare and be proactive.
Correct.
Diba? So
And,
that is actually giving literacy to people who are not knowledgeable of the existing laws that we have and how to leverage on that. Kasi it's beneficial to many.
Correct, Coach. And it's also one of our ways to help the government and the Philippines as a whole by simply availing of this tax amnesty. It works both ways. You are helping the government collect taxes, and the government is also helping you to be able to transfer the properties at the least possible cost. Why? All the penalties are already waived.
Right.
The surcharge, the interest, okay, and the
because
higher.
They want to encourage people to the basics of economics, diba? Syempre, they want to encourage people to pay so that it can go back and then it will be given back naman to the people.
Correct.
Also,
through basic services, like what the government is doing right now.
So who are qualified for the tax amnesty? You mentioned yung mga 2017 and current.
2017 and prior years.
Prior years.
For those who passed away, 2017 and prior years, they can avail of the tax amnesty. They just have to prepare the basic documents. And
okay, let's talk about the worst case scenario. What if hindi talaga siya umabot ng June 2021? Yeah. Hindi siya umabot.
Kung hindi siya nakapag-file, well, sad to say, not unless the government would also say, because of COVID, we would also try to extend it for 2 or 3 more months. Well, that would be a welcoming.
But as of this time, there's no extension yet, right?
No extension yet because it's still June 15 of 2021. But if, for instance, the government decides to extend it, well, that's a very good news for taxpayers. But sabi ko nga, while the government hasn't announced an extension, avail lang tayo or process lang. So if you have already filed it with BIR or started, just let the BIR do their thing. Gagawin naman nila yun pinaprocess naman. It's being processed. So what happens if you were not able to avail? Well, it goes back to the original problem.
Yep.
You have to pay a higher amount of tax because the rate is 20%.
Right.
Okay, so it's actually graduated. Let me just be clear on this one. It's really graduated from 5% to 20%. But meaning to say, still, it's really quite a high amount or high rate to consider.
As compared to 6%, of course.
Compared to 6%, yes.
And, for example, I already filed.
Okay.
I'm already with the local agencies. Does that qualify that I'm already availing the tax amnesty?
Once you have already filed it with the office,
it's already in motion.
It's considered on process already.
Okay, so
yes.
it means that I already availed. So
yes.
they don't have to worry about what if it doesn't, it's not finished within the timeline of June 2000.
So long as you were able to file it. File and pay the tax on or before June 15.
It's already good. Okay.
As of June 15, kung bayad ka, it's already being processed by BIR. Medyo matatagalan ng konti, yes.
Because of the processing and
because of the process. Situation. But we also have to be considerate with BIR that these are not normal times. This is the new normal.
Correct.
And people also from the government is trying to do their job, but at the same time, they also would like to be safe.
Right.
We also have to consider that.
The people doing it for
yes. So I need to stress that or emphasize that, Coach Aiet, because there are some taxpayers, they seem to be having a misunderstanding with the government, that they would be saying the government is not doing their part. They are doing their part, but you also have to understand that these are not normal times.
Right. And they're also starting to get automation, right? I mean,
in terms of automation, if I may put it this
not
way,
in full, but they're starting.
They are trying to improve the system. Just like any other structure, the system is very important, and little by little, if I may put it this way, they are also doing their part. They
already invested in IT.
They are already doing their part to improve that system, especially under President Digong.
You made mention about people who can take advantage of this amnesty, and what insight or what recommendation can we give the listeners who are tuning in right now as to avoid it, diba? Parang for those parents or for those children whose parents are still living and has estates, how can they properly organize their documents and they don't have the family squabble, so to speak, in the future?
Okay. Just like in our family, if we can talk about travel, we should also be talking about estate. Diba? Because sometimes the challenge here is sabihin na, but ayokong pag-usapan yan kasi morbid eh. Kung ang travel nga, pinag-uusapan, bakit hindi mo pag-usapan ng estate?
Na-excite nga pag-travel, di ba? Lalo na ako, na-excite talaga ako dyan.
Kahit naman ako, I have to give it to it na pagka-travel, syempre, excited ako niyan, di ba? But I should be more excited when we talk about estate. Why? Because preparation to ng property na either tatanggapin ko or property na ibibigay ko.
Right.
Yun siya eh. Yeah, we really have to sit down. Do we need a professional to help us with that? Yes, you need to have an accountant or a lawyer who would help you craft that kind of what we call tax and estate planning. Kailangan po yun eh. Hindi natin
sa secretary, pwede na. Baka pwede na sa secretary pagawa.
Yung tax and estate planning. Well, ako, I would still always say na, ano yan eh, ipoposisyon natin kung ano yung dapat. Diba? Kung isang property lang yan, I don't think it would be a problem. But tayo mga Filipino kasi, the reason bakit tayo nagtatrabaho na mabuti, why we work hard, it's basically because we love our family.
And
in so doing, we keep on accumulating properties. And how do you properly do it? I have a keyword for that one. Preparation, protection, preservation. And the only way for you to be able to do it, you have to do it right. You either consult a professional, like a lawyer or a CPA, or even a financial advisor for that matter, because financial advisors are also being equipped with basic know-how, and even brokers, our fellow brokers. They are also
knowledgeable.
We are also knowledgeable in that one. Bakit po? Because we're talking of properties. We are talking of estates.
And so last Sunday, diba, we talked about if you want something to turn out with quality, you go to the professionals.
Tama po. That's right. Kasi inaral nila yon. That's right. That's the key word, because that's part of their training. That's part
and they're licensed.
And they are licensed. So going back to sa question mo kanina, assuming ganun kayang ginawa mo.
Right.
So one of the things that I always tell clients is, okay, after this computation, what's next? We're going to pay. What happens next? That's the time you start telling them, Mr. Client, would you be happy if we would be able to come up with a plan which would help you minimize the tax effect of the transfer of the property in the event that something or one of the owners would pass away? Because reality dictates, diba? Even the best doctors in town cannot say that you will live 5, 10, 15, or 20 years.
Yes.
But the key there is preparation. Diba? The 3 P's of estate, tax and estate planning, the 3 P's. I always tell them, makulit ako, pasensya na. But I have to tell this, preparation, protection, preservation. Those are the 3 P's of tax and estate planning. Kasi pag
hindi nila natandaan yun, mas magastos, diba?
Totoo. At ang tawag ko doon, Coach, if I may say, tuition. Bakit? If it's going to be more costly on your part, definitely you will really understand
Especially if you don't know. Kasi there are a lot of books, there are a lot of webinars. This is free. Diba?
Yeah, that's right.
All you have to do is listen.
Let's listen. And type your question if it's possible.
And I hope you guys are listening still, because it's almost 9. And thank you for staying with us. For those listening to us, I hope that you tag your friends and share this page and like this episode. We will raffle off 10 people to win
10.
XDT Group is providing 10 winners. Load the GCash, and then we will be raffling off 3 people to win this malunggay.
Wow, parang gusto ko yan. I like that.
Oh, diba? Times like this, you need to be healthy, you know.
That's right. Health is wealth. Health is wealth. That's right.
By Town Health.
That's right. That's right. Yun nga, Coach. So, dun regarding to sa kanina, I would always tell clients na, you know, you have to talk about this one.
Right.
Kasi otherwise, same scenario, the problem with the present generation would also be the problem of the second generation. And, you know, there are always ways to be able to minimize that effect. And I tell them, and one of those ways is what we call protection. And how do you do that protection? You consult with your financial advisors, because they are in the better position to tell you what product, what tool, or what methodology that you can avail of to minimize those effects. You might want to call it income replacement, you might want to call it insurance, you might want to call it protection. But bottom line is, if you want to minimize the effect of taxes in your properties, there has to be preparation.
Correct. I couldn't agree more. Marami na akong mga narinig na ganyan, both clients and friends, na they have to give up na lang because it's mahal. So are we on for one more? Meron lang dito sharing since Lorna Lopez.
Sige po.
And she said, the heirs are the wife and two sons. Since the eldest son has already been given a piece of property in his name, the wife wants the one remaining property to be for her bunso. If the wife and the eldest son waive their rights to the property in the extrajudicial settlement, will they need to pay donation tax aside from estate tax?
Okay, yeah. I like, thank you for that question. So the first thing that you have to check, Coach Aiet, sino ba yung nakalagay sa title?
Correct.
Kung nakalagay sa title would be the mom and the dad. Let us say the dad passed away. Yan. And the mom said, okay, your dad, when he was alive, already gave you properties. Now, there's only one property left, and I want to give this to the youngest. Yan. So, that's the purpose of an extrajudicial settlement. You can have it done, because so long as they would sign and waiving the right. But as regards the ownership, since the mother is also a part owner of the property, she technically cannot waive her ownership. The ownership, for it to be transferred to the youngest son, would entail donation. So it would be a case of extrajudicial settlement with waiver of rights, and at the same time, a case of deed of donation. Or it could be placed in one document, extrajudicial settlement with donation. Pwede rin yun. But as much as possible, it has to be cleared. Those who are waiving would simply be the siblings. But the mother, since she is one of the owners, or she's one of the two owners of the property under the title, she cannot waive her ownership. She can only waive her right, but she cannot waive her ownership. The waiver of the ownership is tantamount or equivalent to donation. We have to be clear on that one. If your name's in the title, you cannot waive your ownership. You can only donate your ownership. What you can waive is your right, meaning I am not yet in the title. I am not yet in the title, but I am expecting to receive something because my parent or my father already passed away. And by virtue, since our law here in the Philippines is very generous, the moment one of the spouses passed away, it would automatically entitle the children to the right over the property. But the right, you can waive it. But ownership, you cannot. You can only donate your ownership.
Okay. So much learnings tonight. Thank you so much, co-host. Okay, to lighten things up, we will be raffling 10. And I think we have it na. I'll tell the winners now. For the winners of Malunggay.
Okay. Who are the winners? Do we have some winners?
We have Annie Casimiro, Dean Castro, and Bo Gonzalez. Okay. Now, for the winners of the GCash or the load, up to you guys. We will just PM you. Just leave your notes there in the comment section. We have Jomar Del Mundo, D. Castro, George Serafin, Giselle Prangan. I think those are the only things. Special shout out to my friend Martha Casimiro. Hi, Dai. Yeah, so we will be promoting now. Okay, if you have no more questions, guys. Do you have any other questions from the media team? Okay, while waiting for that, I would like to invite everyone to join us this coming Saturday in Kidpreneurship Batch 2. It's an introduction, what kidpreneurship is and what to expect, and that will be with Sheila Ong. I'm part of that team by Resolute Life, and on July 22, I will be with Martha Casimiro, still with, this is in a form of a podcast naman with her. She will be guesting me in her talk show, so to speak. And I'll be talking about how to raise entrepreneurial-minded kids. There. Professor Sai, do you have anything in line from your end?
Okay, this coming Sunday, July 19, July 19, we're going to have the second run, okay, or the Module 2 for ABC, Master Closure Guide on Tax and Estate Planning, Module 2. So the title of Module 2 is Acquisition, Taxation, Succession. So it's going to be a more detailed or a level up discussion in terms of properties, in terms of business, on what would be the strategic move that you are going to do as a financial advisor, as a professional, as a broker, as a property owner. So you would be able to maximize the benefit under the law. So I call it tax solutions. Okay, tax solutions for properties. But more than the tax avoidance, it's more important is the tax solutions on how you would be able to properly do it using the provisions of the law and the available exemptions being given by our tax code.
Okay. We also wanted to shout out Gabrielle Idiza, who also won the GCash or load for tonight. We would like to also thank our sponsors for tonight, Town Health for the Malunggay teas that we give out as prizes tonight, and XCT Group of Companies, specifically DBR and XCT and Company Inc. There for continuously providing us support in our every Sunday coffee house chat. Syempre, special thanks to my team. Salamat for always being supportive, direct, and you know who you are. Secret, no? Anyway, anything else for tonight, Professor Sai, before we cap the night off?
Well, I just like to say thank you so much for this time again, especially to the Lord. Because I always tell, thank you for the gift of life and the gift of technology. You know, because of technology like this one, information is easily being shared, transmitted to everybody because of this one.
All the way from Zamboanga nga eh.
Oo nga.
Si Martha listening,
Thank you for that, diba? Yun. And of course, thank you for all those who are watching. Perfect. I hope we are able to add value and to give you the information.
Sana may natutunan kayo, guys.
Yun po. Necessary for your investment, your properties, diba? Sabi nga natin whether we like it or we like it diba? Hindi whether you like it or not. Whether you like it or you like it, taxes would always be involved in our situation, diba?
Tama. Yeah. And speaking of, marami tayong binanggit kanina ng mga passing away, etc. Next month, Prof. Sai, Ghost Month daw. Ghost Month.
August.
O, teka lang, sandali lang, nag-isa lang ako dito. At mag-isa ka lang din dyan.
Okay,
so, next week, we will be talking about, is Ghost Month really real? And how does it affect the business of our friends and MSMEs, diba? So it's a very interesting topic, and we'll be having Miss Sofia Relosa. Yan, Sophie, yung soap niya, diba? So we will be guesting her because she is now a certified Chinese metaphysics. She reads Dasi charts, feng shui, etc. So she will be sharing what she learned and maybe give us some tips on how to understand fully what Ghost Month really is. Is it, sabi nga, Pinoy na Pinoy tayo, pero medyo naniniwala rin tayo sa Ghost Month, di ba? Yun. Ano yung mga kailangan i-prepare? Kaya we will be having it next Sunday.
Okay, no, that's a very interesting topic, Coach. Kahit ako, very interested ako sa ganun kasi since 1998, I've been doing what I call feng shui practice.
Oo. And wala namang mawawala, di ba? Feng shui is being practical on yung positions, di ba? And I think, just because it's already 9:06 p.m., thank you so much for listening, and we will cap the night off. We will see you again next Sunday. Hope to see you all again. Thank you.
Okay, thanks,
Yeah,
Coach Aiet.
thank
Again,
you.
this is Professor Sai. Thank you so much for listening.
This
Happy
is
weekend,
Coach
guys.
Aiet. Happy house chat.
Okay, enjoy
See
the
ya.
coffee.
Bye-bye.
Bye.